start wanting to believe your story? Maybe you can start from like kind of there.
Believe my story. Yeah, that's a good question because I was in denial of my story. I used to walk around in my mind that I was the bad guy in my story. I was the bad guy. So everything that happened to me was supposed to happen to me. I would tell myself when these things happen, like anything that bad happened to me in life, I was telling myself I deserve this because of what happened in my life. So I lived in a false narrative of my story for so long that I started to let my story affect my relationships. And the biggest relationship that it affected was my relationship with my kids.
Mm.
When that story started to affect my kids, I had no choice but to tell the truth about the story. Like I couldn't let that narrative no longer stand there because they was walking around like they're of a perspective of their mom that wasn't true. And it wasn't fair to them to have to be crucified and be attacked from something that the world thought was true about me that wasn't true. It's just that I never told my part of the story. I let everybody else's narrative be the narrative. And I never
Mm.
had the courage or the ability to actually say my story to somebody that I felt that it mattered to. In my mind, I thought that everybody already had their perspective. Everybody already came to the conclusion about the story. So it doesn't matter what I say or do, that the narrative was not going to change. So I allowed it to be. But once it started to affect my kids got older and the story continued on and people continued to tell the story. I didn't want them to have that narrative about me. I didn't want them to think of their mom in a way that didn't show me in my best light. So I that's what gave me the courage to finally speak up about my story and just open up to the world about what's actually going on and just see the world to see my side of the story and have a option to choose from.